we knew we didn't look like those guys in the big time grunge bands, and we didn't sound like those bands.
In 1993, Melvins released Houdini, an uncompromising, sludgy, filthy wall of noise, rasp and riffs that made no compromises as the band's major label debut. Melvins frontman Buzz Osborne infamously took Kurt Cobain to his first concert and arguably helped shape his musical trajectory. Cobain was brought on as a producer for Houdini before being unceremoniously fired off the project. In this 30th anniversary feature, Buzz Osborne shares the stories behind the songs and where this record fits into the band's vivid 40-year history. What was the moment of conception for this album?
Well, some of the songs on it were very old. I think the song Set Me Straight was one of the first songs I ever wrote. We had gotten signed to Atlantic Records and had really thought it was just going to be one record and then they were going to be done. We were already, about 1988, we put out an album called Ozma. And as a result of that record, it sold pretty well. It sold over 10,000 records. And at the time, we called 10,000 record sales as like a punk rock gold album.
Oh, right now it's like a triple platinum.
It'd be like quad. Yeah. But 10,000 records then was like a punk rock gold record. If you could sell 10,000 records or something, you could go on tour. And we had gotten a little bit of money from our first royalty check, and Dale and I had decided to quit our stupid pizza cooking jobs and concentrate solely on music. And that's all we've done since 1988. By the time Houdini came around, we'd already been making a living playing music for quite a few years, 4 years, 5 years. We didn't view it as a big shot, like we're going to make millions of dollars. I mean, we knew we didn't look like those guys in the big time grunge bands, and we didn't sound like those bands. We just assumed that that was going to be it. And so we did it in probably, I think, 3 or 4 different sessions. And
That's
I really
fast.
had that in mind. I liked the songs that we had. Set Me Straight, I wrote probably in 1983.
I mean, the first song, Hooch, starts with Los
Hooch.
Tica Toe Rest.
On that one, I had the riff. I knew it was good. I knew the song, the music was good. And I was writing these lyrics. And so sometimes I'll come up with a melody. And what you do is you just, a lot of people do this. You just sing whatever.
That sounds exactly like that.
Phonetically, and then you'll fill in the blanks later. And I had those lyrics in the studio, with the Los Tica Toe, and I was, thinking I'm going to fill them in. And Cobain read those lyrics. He goes, you should use these and you should print them.
I mean, Night Goat, how was the riff born? Yeah. That's a great riff.
I wrote that riff in San Francisco, sitting in my bedroom. I remember exactly when I did it. It was in the afternoon, and I was looking at a fish tank that we had, and I wrote that riff. And I knew I wanted to write something that was semi-slow and repetitive, simple. Because we write a lot of complicated stuff. And when I came up with that, I was just like, I just knew it was good right away. And I wrote the whole song in just a matter of minutes, probably 5 minutes,
Sick. It's got power. It's just got simple power.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a really great riff.
You can't argue with the Night Goat riff.
No.
It's not arguable.
Go the rest of my life and never write one that good again.
This is what I mean. It's important to mention Kurt because obviously he was credited as a producer on it. You very publicly, well, not actually, I have no idea. I wasn't there, but you fired. You've talked about obviously firing him. Oh, yes, and it's incredibly sad. I mean, I know heroin must have touched a lot of bands in your sphere and in your world, in your musical world. Like
everybody's world.
Yeah, I feel like
every level of society.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point, especially now.
No one is free from it. And it doesn't matter if it's highest level billionaires to the lowest level street people. It will affect everyone equally and destroys everyone equally.
And that must have been hard. I mean, you took him to his first concert and stuff. Like he is like your musical child on some level.
Tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I would rather have him not famous and alive than famous and dead.
Do you think they came together? Do you think he got into drugs because of? Do you think it was a reaction to fame?
No, but like I said, that kind of thing would have happened, could have happened anyway.
Yeah.
I
Was
know
there a
that
catalyst moment in that
what
record where it was, because obviously you're going into this album, you're like, we're being careful with money. We want to, be smart about making this album. Was there like a catalyst moment where you're like, I just can't anymore? Like, you're not in the state to be a part of this.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He didn't show up for one of the sessions, and it was just really obvious.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a judgment call as far as that's concerned. It was just more of like, this isn't going to work. So you go and do your thing. And then it's been said, like, especially by Danny Goldberg, said that Kurt because I went into Danny Goldberg's office at Atlantic and told him this. And he conveniently doesn't remember any of that, which is crazy. That is crazy, and he's actually said stuff like, Kurt quit because we wanted him to write songs for us. So it's just fucking insane. I don't need anybody to write songs for me. And the producer, to me, what you do is you'd come in, we would show him the songs that we have, and maybe we would go through them. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? But as far as him writing something for me, I never needed anyone to write anything for me. Never. And so that whole idea is absurd. And it's quite disgusting. And I take a lot of offense to that, especially considering, no, I stood in your office and I did this. You had nothing to do with it. You didn't. And then to turn it around like it's somehow we wanted him to do something for us and that he quit because we wanted to horn in on whatever it was. That's absolute bullshit. Total bullshit. And so I'm not taking that. The best is like with the Nirvana stuff, it's like millions and millions of people like their stuff, but millions of people of those people won't like our stuff. And then they can't understand why they ever liked us, which shows they have no understanding of what these people think in the first place. Same with Soundgarden. Soundgarden fans can't understand, a lot of them can't understand why they would ever like a band like us. It's because you can't understand them at all.
Truth. That's a really important point.
At all. They like us and you don't believe it. You don't see why, because you don't understand it. There's nothing I can do about that. That's just the way that it is. And I don't mind it. I'm fine with that. Millions of people won't like our stuff. It's fine with me, but enough will.
Yeah. Okay. But it's interesting.
Very grateful for what I have.
I think it wouldn't be the same and it wouldn't still matter if it didn't have what formed him. And I know you were a big part of what formed him musically. And I think it's really interesting, the baby comes out that way, being raised on underground music and being raised on music that doesn't sound like anything else.
Underground music changed their attitude.
Totally.
To what was possible. I saw music as lacking something. It was a danger to some degree and a heaviness, and that was kind of part Birthday Party, part Throbbing Gristle, part Black Sabbath, sort of. And there's missing an element in there that I thought that's what I wanted to do.
Hag Me. I just feel like it's like, let's just play as slow as we can. There's this great, I wanted to mention it earlier, but I have 3 reviews I dug up of Houdini called you, said you had a demented gnarly rasp, which I liked, a stinking primordial ooze, love that too, and a Black Sabbath 45 left out in the sun, then played at 33. I feel like this is that song.
I just felt like that was missing. That kind of element was missing.
I think it's an outrage to not call it one of your top 5.
Well, when we went in, we signed a contract that said we had 100% artistic control. We can do whatever we want. We deliver the records, then we're free. If I'd have went to them and said, which is what I saw bands do other than us, tell us what to do to be big superstars, they would have gladly done that.
Do you think Nirvana ever collaborated in that way?
They wanted to sell millions of records and were willing to do what it took to have that happen.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah,
the labels plugged them in the same way that they sold bands before them, like Motley Crue. Their musical sensibilities were far different, and where their music was coming from was a completely different place than the hair metal bands and stuff like that prior to them. But how it was sold wasn't a whole lot different. The whole Nirvana thing was not a happy time, how it all ended and everything. Yeah. So it's kind of taken away the idea that there was a a lot of happy memories simply because of how it all ended.
Yeah. Well,
So it's difficult for me to look back on it, like, oh yeah, it was great or anything like that. I mean, when I hear their music, it's difficult for me to have feelings that aren't affected by that. Yeah,
it's a personal tragedy. Yeah,
personal tragedy. It ends badly, and I'm not over it.
Now, I like it how you have a Kiss cover, and then you got Honey Bucket, which is like headbang distortion. Like, you got to have some headbang distortion in your album. Like, it's the first, like, I think it's a song for a police. Like, if I was in a police chase, I'd play this.
Yeah, that's a good one. I never expected people to like it as much as they did. I knew I liked it.
It's
but
heavy.
People like that song. So we went for a long time without playing it. We don't want to play it. And now I'm just like, you know what? We're just gonna play that. I'm gonna play it.
What would we not know about making that? What's the story you haven't told about, like, making that song?
There's a songwriting formula that most people use, that I don't particularly enjoy. The Beatles didn't always use it. They did on some stuff, but there's a linear way of writing stuff that I like a little more. We don't always do it, but I've used it a lot, which is it goes from one part into another part into another part, and then you're done. Whereas most music, going as far back as Chuck Berry and probably a lot further, is verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, end. I mean, Nirvana did that. Everybody did that. That is very familiar to everyone. I have intentionally tried to make music that I enjoyed that didn't follow those patterns. Kiss follows those patterns.
Totally.
Led Zeppelin didn't always follow them. Like a song like Whole Lotta Love doesn't really follow that pattern. It's a really weird song, top to bottom, but it was people like this. There's lots of examples of it not being the case, but I have not been afraid to not do that. I don't have to go back to the first part, the first chorus. I don't have to do that. I can write a song that doesn't do that. I can have 3 verses and then an ending. That's fine. There's no reason I can't do that, and so that's kind of how I've always viewed it.
Well, Spread Eagle Beagle, you played that live and stuff. Did everyone played percussion on that album? On that song?
Yep.
What was that session like?
That was easy. It was quick.
We
just lined it up, and that was just one take.
Sick.
And then what we did was we slowed it down. We slowed it down when we mixed it. So it's probably about 3/4 speed of how we recorded it.
Sick.
Just said, that's it. Done.
Lizzie, I think it's like a vile seductress, which I like in your songs, where you can see someone clicking onto that song and going, oh, look, it's chill.
Very quick description of what it's about. It's about parents being very disappointed in how their children turn out. There's very few people I take constructive criticism from, but most of them see my vision and understand it, what I'm doing. They're not outsiders going, I don't understand why they do, it's like, no, that's right, you don't understand. You just leave it.
The Kiss cover. What was so great about Kiss to put a cover of their song in there?
They wrote good songs. Same with Alice Cooper. Cooper, they were extending what Alice Cooper did. They even used a producer on some of their stuff.
I love Alice Cooper, though.
But without Alice Cooper having good songs, I wouldn't have cared. I love that song. I thought it was great. I didn't care what it was about.
It is a great song.
I thought his singing on it is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's got a guitar solo.
It is sick. I'm not going to lie.
There's a song that they do on a Hotter Than Hell called Strange Ways.
Yeah.
Gene, the backup vocal. Just listen to that song. It's just like, oh my God, this band was just, it's brutal. I need
to give Kiss a chance. I need to give Kiss a chance.
Yes. I think that especially Strange Ways has, I would say, arguably one of my top 5 guitar solos ever.
Well, the album artwork, I think, has to have played a role in its success. It's, like that, this was a time when the visual side of things mattered.
Yeah.
What is this two-head? Like Frank Kozik did your artwork, and I love
Yeah.
the back cover picture as well, the kind of
Yeah.
weird monsters vibe. But can you tell us about the two-headed dog? And is it about a nuclear winter, a future when all the animals are broken from nuclear winter?
Nothing that deep.
No.
I mean,
Okay.
if you look at our other album covers, Bootyport Achievements had, kids, like a coloring book picture of kids skipping rope, and Ozma was it's all artwork that doesn't really relate to what the band sounds like. I remember Frank saying to us, I want to do something with these kids, like petting a dog, but like the dog has two heads. And we're like, oh, great. That sounds great.
It works, man. It works.
I trust the artists.
Yeah.
When I work with an artist, it's like I trust their vision. I've already hired them to do this.
Totally.
So let them do their job.